Perfect. Hi, everyone. Appreciate you making the time to learn about our story at Abitibi. So we're listed on the CSE under the ticker AMQ, the OTCQB under the ticker AMQFF, and the Frankfurt Exchange under the ticker FWO. So making forward-looking statements in today's presentation. So a bit about myself and how Abitibi came to be. So I'm a member of a family office out of Toronto, Ontario. We're most known for the airline business, but we're diversified in the real estate and mining sectors. So we've been in the mining sector for 25 years, largely as a private prospect generator, managing our flow-through budget per year, leading to optioning projects, financing, being directors, strategic advisors. But really 5 years ago, I'm a chartered accountant by background. I worked with the majors for about 6 years. But really, we backed a few deals that ended up being lifestyle companies, really the companies that hurt the reputation of the business. So we decided, I left EY about 5 years ago to build Abitibi Metals from scratch, really to pair our capital, our expertise and contacts to really be a prudent manager of capital and lead to what we've acquired now, what we believe is a world-class asset at B26. So a lot of text here. Let me just summarize and we'll move on. Really, the last year has been transformational for the company. We announced the acquisition of the B26 deposit last November, which is 11.5 million ton combined, indicated and inferred at 3% copper equivalent. This deposit had never been in a public company. We optioned this off of SOQUEM, which is essentially an exploration arm of the Quebec government. So very rare opportunity that we're taking an asset with this size and scale that's never been in a public company. And if this was with a major or junior, this would have never been available. They would have drilled this off before ever selling it. So we have a good track record in the province of Quebec. We were the founding partners of Air Quebec, a First Nations partnered airline within the province, which I think helped our resume as being the right suitors for moving the B26 deposit forward. So we are a Quebec-focused exploration company. So yeah, Quebec, without the excellent support of the province of Quebec, we wouldn't be in the position we are in today. So we have great First Nations partnerships. We have 100% premium on the charity flow through that we raise within the company. It's a big reason why we've been able to raise $22 million over the last year and really limit dilution. So we're fully funded out to the first quarter of 2026. We still have $13 million in the treasury and fully financed to complete our current 16,500 meter program and drill another 20,000 meters next year. So really looking at what we've been able to accomplish in a year since optioning B26 in November. So we raised $50 million in December. We brought forward our lead exploration advisor, Eric Callio, that just retired as the Senior Vice President of Exploration at Agnico. We've done business with Eric over the last 20 years and had prior successes with him in the West Timmins camp. So we started and we were the top performing Canadian junior mining company of 2023. We announced the acquisition at $5 million market cap in November. We finished the year at 60 million and we are at 45 million market cap as of today. So we started with, we ramped up to 3 drills in the first half of the year. We drilled 13,500 meters. We raised another 7.1 million in April, and this was done internally. There was no warrants issued on the financings. Really, this was mostly high net worths, including Frank Justra, Greg Shimandi, other notable individuals in the space. Delbrook Capital is our one large institutional shareholder. And I'll get into what we accomplished in the drilling in the first half of the year. So we're located in the northern Abitibi on the same east-west as the Detour mine, owned and operated by Agnico Eagle. So what's important to look at, we're in the northern portion of the Abitibi. We're next to the historical Salbay mine, which is important because that was a similar polymetallic deposit that produced 53 million tons of material over 20 years. We have a power line that runs through the project. We have all year access. So we drill for $245 a meter, half of the cost of some of our competitors in the camp. So looking at the area, our first asset that we optioned when we went public was from Wallbridge. We optioned the Best for Gold project where we've drilled over 56 grams per ton over 5.5 meters, 13 grams over 8.75. 2021, we drilled the central zone with 5 grams over 30 meters. So earlier stage project, 35,000 meters of drilling, but a good complementary asset to B26 that is 7 kilometers to the southwest. So as I mentioned, B26 has an indicated resource of 7 million tons at just under 3%, inferred resource of 4.41 at just under 3% again. And that resource was done at half of today's commodity prices at $1,200 gold, $5,500 per ton copper. So there's a lot of leverage on the contained metal and the commodity price increase between then and today. So looking at the makeup of the deposit, so there is very few of these high-grade VMSs within Canada. Our main competitor being 4N Mining that just completed a $350 million financing with Agnico Eagle taking 10% of the company. So these polymetallic high-grade systems are very profitable. This is something that the majors want, and we have had majors that have started coming to site to present to them. One of our goals over the next 4 to 6 months is to have a producer with a 5% position in Abitibi Metals to help add to the thesis that we're creating of this being a 30 to 50 million ton deposit, very similar to the nearby Selby mine. But in gold, you'll see we have a copper gold zone that stretches 1.6 kilometers. It is more of an orogenic, structurally controlled stringer zone with the parallel massive sulfide zinc silver. So different from the Quebec government, we view this as a hybrid VMS model, but it is a VMS source system. So looking at the resource, one thing to note that the MET testing done in 2018 was very strong. 98.3% recovery on the copper, 90% on the gold, 96.1% on the zinc, and 72% on the silver. So very, very strong recoveries and a testament to the mineralization type and being a clean two concentrates compared to some of the VMSs in the southern of the Abitibi. So what we accomplished in the first half of the year, we drilled 13,500 meters in the first half of the year. Really, this was focused on the first 300 meters vertical. We had 4 mandates to test. The 2018 resource was high-grade underground. We saw the potential to highlight an open pit in addition to that high-grade underground to drill out the north and push the north bedrock interface. And a good example of that is 301. We drilled about a 1.5% copper equivalent over 97.5 meters. We expanded the western strike, and as you can see in the next on the left side of that grade shells, we've made that discovery or extension that is 500 meters away from the main deposit. We expanded out to the east, and we expanded the high-grade zone up to 11.4% copper equivalent over 10.6 meters. That had a very heavy gold credit associated to it. We're the first operator to model the gold on its own and get a good understanding of the gold controls on the system. So this is, I think, really the best slide to show the upside of the deposit. So really, this has been well drilled to 300 meters vertical. This is the result of our modeling over the summer to prepare for our deeper drilling that we're currently underway. So really, what you see in the first 300 meters vertical, those high-grade trends that have been modeled, we see that expanding in the mid-level and down to the western plunge. Really, SOQUEM has confirmed the continuity to depth with limited drilling, but we believe based on the limited drilling at depth, it did prove continuity, and the modeling that we've completed, this will be one continuous unit that dips to the west. So we announced visuals from our first 2 deep holes of the program. These results will be out next week, but the key thing from this is we extended the system 200 meters deeper than the historical block model. We've announced that we hit an 85-meter, what we believe is a low-grade zone with higher-grade lenses within it. So really, the strength of this system is there at depth. We believe that this is a very deep-seated Abitibi system, so we think we could be scratching the surface of a much larger deposit. So looking at our main competitor, 4N Mining is worth $1.7 billion today. They have a 42 million ton resource at roughly 2% copper equivalent. They were the size of us 4 years ago. And really, in my opinion, the key to their success is ramping up and in building very large institutional shareholders, including the pension funds. They had Pierre Lassonde come on in addition, but really giving them the medium to long-term capital that has allowed them to ramp up. But we have a similar deposit, a larger superficial strike length, and they've proven, SOCOM proved and now us with 338, we've proven the continuity down to 950 meters vertical. And we're now starting to do deep-seated geophysics to try to look at the larger extensions and is there other parallel lenses at B26. And really looking, I've been asked, well, is this really deep drilling? Could this be economic? But you look at Larone, which was a similar polymetallic mine on the Cadillac break, and really for the starting size and superficial footprint of this deposit, and really usually in the alteration signature, these deposits usually go down 3 times at depth than the superficial footprint at surface, and the drilling continues to confirm that. So looking at the in situ value against, I guess, what we'd say is our closest 2 competitors, there is a disconnect. I think part of the reason is we have performed very well over the course of a year. We are up 10x from last November. So I think the market consolidated well over the summer, but I think now we're in a position to deliver, to build up that gap. We are going to announce an updated resource within the next week. That will capture the first half of the year drilling, the move in commodity prices, and the updated modeling that we've done. We will also announce the initial holes of Phase 2 next week to have a combination of, here's the updated resource. We really believe this is just a starting point. Here are the drill results to show we've extended the system 200 meters at depth. And then we still will have another 13,000 meters of drill results to announce in batches every 2 weeks. So this is just a 1.6 kilometer trend. We have other targets outside the project. That's the South Bay mine to the north. We will be drilling our grassroots targets in the first quarter to try to make another VMS lens discovery. So one of the key things, and again, our purpose of, I guess, moving into the public markets is prudent capital management. On a G&A to exploration basis, we have 16% G&A per year, 84% exploration. We're fully funded for another $6.1 million budget next year. We'll still have $3 million in the treasury at the start of 2026. So we're really well positioned along our shareholders. We have over $3 million of our own money invested in the company. And again, we did that all without any warrants. So we've funded a 7-year obligation in 5 months. We will own 80% of the B26 deposit by the end of next year. And the government of Quebec is our 20% partner. So really, in summary, we wanted to find an asset that was saleable, because really with the position size of myself, my family office, we are in this alongside shareholders to realize the liquidity event from the interest to date, and also how few of these high-grade VMSs there are available in Canada. We do see that as potential. And I'm out of time. I'll just flip forward. 110 million shares outstanding, 13 million in cash, very little overhang on the stock. And the team, Martin Demers, their chief geologist, he was a chief geo at Horizon that oversaw the Casperarty mine and takeover by Hecla in 2013. That's 50 kilometers southwest of B26. And we have Shane Williams on the engineering side. He was with Eldorado and now with West Red Lake. Eric Callio, lead advisor on exploration. He just retired as senior vice president of exploration at Agnico. Victor Cantori, great supporter, shareholder, excellent job at Amex, and has been a key shareholder. And Chris Levy participated in each of the financing since announcing the B26 deposit, and is the prior chief investment officer at BlackRock. But appreciate everybody's time.
Perfect. If there's any questions, we've got 1 minute left. Nope. Okay, we're good. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate your time.